I remember believing that I shared the same soul as this person that I called Twin Flame. Like, I really believed in that whole story. And there are so many people out there, including like these people that speak about twin flames like I do. They believe that too as well. I have not met one yet that isn't out of the story. I mean, there's so many of them out there that will literally speak about this shit, man. And I came across one the other day, and she is with what she claims to be her twin flame. And people are wondering why or how, because I guess she married him. And people are wondering, how do you make it work? How do you make it work? How does it? And, she was literally telling people that the way she makes it work is that she focuses on herself. She goes within herself and she balances out her energy, and she puts the focus on her. And like how she knows her worth and all this stuff, she doesn't make it about him anymore. And these people are believing this shit. Like, I know that she has slip-ups. There's no one that's perfect. No one is perfect, and there's no control over what's going to appear to happen. Like, one moment she could be focusing on herself, and the next moment not. And then she's gonna be like, holy shit, I gotta go back and focus on myself. I mean, I remember when I really believed, and I really believed that these were the things that I had to do in order to keep a man. Like, they'll tell you that they're not doing it to keep the man, but you actually fucking are. Because you're literally like believing that if you focus on yourself and if you do this and that, then that will keep that person around. You guys, really listen to what I'm saying. Like, I know it's hard when you're in the story. It really, really is. There's so many people that are so in it. God, they're so in it. They believe that if they eat certain foods and they do certain things when they get up in the morning and balance out their energies and just making sure that they're at a high frequency, that this is going to attract this person back into their life. You can do all of that. I'm not saying don't do it, because there's nothing wrong with doing it. That's the thing here. There's nothing wrong with anything. But to think that by you doing all of that, it's going to attract this person back into your life is a load of crap. They may come back into your life while you're doing all of that, but it won't be because you're doing all of that. It's just because they came back. And I don't even know that, to be honest with you, because there's really no rhyme or reason. But people that are in this huge fantasy of twin flames that they call a huge phenomenon, they believe that if they do all of this stuff, that's how the twin flame is going to come back. And when the twin flame does come back, they believe it's because they did all of that. But you're soon going to find out that you're not perfect, and you are going to have slip-ups. And that person probably will still stick around. And then they may not. I mean, there's really no telling, guys. It's a catch-22. But first and foremost, you must get out of the fact that person's your twin flame. There's no fact, okay? That person is not your twin flame. That is just a fucking label that someone has put on a connection. And they believed in that label because they created a whole fucking story around it. A whole story. It's a belief, you guys. It's a belief. It's no different than religion. I always say that. Or spirituality. Or anything that you believe in. And you literally like abide by it. These people that are in this cult. I call it a cult because it is. It is. Because you're thinking that you have to abide by all these damn rules. I felt more restricted when I was trying to make it right by abiding by all the rules, right? Because I really felt I was going to get somewhere. When you're really getting nowhere. You're getting nowhere. I told you guys before. I went through all the healing. Okay? It felt good too. I went through all of it. It felt really fucking good. There's nothing wrong with that. But who's to say that that shit's gonna stick? Because it doesn't stick. You know how many people that go through counseling and shit and they're okay for a little while and then it's right back to square one again? Because there's no control over what's going to happen from one moment to the next. And you trying to control it is a waste of time because, like I said, you don't know what's going to happen. It's very spontaneous, by the way. Very, very spontaneous. I could sit here right now and say I'm not going to do something and then end up fucking doing it. But I'm really believing that I'm not going to do this and then end up doing it. Oh my gosh, it happens so much for me. I quit saying it. But then again, there are times that I do have slip-ups and I end up saying it anyway. It's like, oh, I'm not going to fucking do that no more. There's no control, you guys, over what's going to appear to happen. There's none. You know, when I got in contact with what you would call my twin flame, I was nervous as hell, guys. My nerves were shot, right? Because I hadn't heard from him in a long time, you know, so it was really unexpected. It was just like, whoa, you know. But here I am still believing in the story, right? And I'm like, well, they say that this is how it is, you know. When they do come back, it's very unexpected. But really, guys, this can happen with any guy that you haven't seen in a long time, or girl that you haven't seen in a long time. Unexpectedly, they just show up out of nowhere. I had a friend that just reached out to me that I haven't talked to since I was in my early 20s. I'm 51 now. And she just reached out. And you know what? It was so funny because I have to pass by her old house all the time where she used to live. And I just be thinking, because I forgot, you know, I remembered her last name, but you know, people change their last names if they get married or whatever. So I'm looking for her by her last name on social media. Couldn't find her for the life of me. Couldn't find her. But, you know, every time I have to pass by her house to go to my parents, because I have to go to my parents' house, you know, when I go to my parents' house, I have to pass by her house. Oh, sorry, guys. I think of her and I'm just like, God, you know, will I ever see her again? You know, it's like I lost complete contact. Do you know she reached out to me just like maybe a few days ago, out of nowhere? Out of nowhere. Now, had that have been my twin flame, what they call twin flame, the story, and I would be thinking, oh my God, am I ever going to see this person again? Blah, 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 blah. They would say, oh, you can't do that because that's a push energy. Bullshit, you guys. I did the same with her, you know, and she's just a friend. But still, I'm like, wow, you know, like, in my mind, I was like, God, am I gonna... And you know, she reached out to me like about 4 days ago. It was so, like, shocking for me because I'm like, wow, I was just, you know, thinking about her these last couple of, you know, months when I had to drive past her house. And here she is, after all these years, getting a hold of me. It can happen with anyone. But if you're in the story, you're going to believe, oh, I share the same soul as this person and I can't, it's not going to happen. It only happens with a twin flame, that they show up unexpectedly. No, if you really get your ass out of the story, you're going to realize that it can happen with anyone. But when you're in the story, it's like Bible. Like you go by everything that they say. And it's hard to get out of that shit sometimes because you're so in it. But, he got a hold of me unexpectedly, and I was nervous as hell. And my friend was like, don't answer him right now because of the way you're feeling. You're all over the place. So I didn't answer right away, but I did eventually answer. And even when I answered him, I was still nervous. And do you know he answered me back right away? I mean, back to back to back to back. Like, he was on it. Like, he was messaging me like back to back to back to back. And I was still nervous. So you guys, don't believe the hype. There's no such thing as a push energy. There's no such thing. And in my mind, I was like, oh my God, I'm in the push energy. I'm in the push energy, right? That's just what I was thinking. I'm like, I'm in the push energy. Oh my God. While I was messaging him. And he still kept messaging me. So look, and we're still in contact with each other. We still talk. It's just that now that I'm not in the story anymore of Twin Flames, I look at him differently. I'm completely out of the story. So I realize that, wow, I really just don't. He's not what I want, basically. We just don't match up. Right? Because I'm not in the story, so I don't look at him like that anymore. But when you're in the story, you truly believe that you're supposed to end up with this person and that you're destined to be together. And these people that are speaking about twin flames, and I was talking to somebody and they were like, then why is it that all these twin flames are coming together in union if it isn't real? Because all these twin flames that you're talking about are getting back together with an ex that they were once with, but because they're so in the story of twin flames, they can't see it like that. They're truly believing that they came into union, that they're in union with their twin flame. And I'm sure a lot of them are still abiding by the rules, or trying to at least. I'm sure they have slip-ups. Everyone does. And you know what? A lot of them will fake the funk and tell you that they don't have slip-ups because they don't want to look a certain way towards their audience. See, a lot of them, they're all in the story. All of them are. I've not met not one person that's not in the story. There was this one person, though, this one girl that would talk about twin flames, and she was out of the story, but then not really, though, now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know, guys. It's really hard to get out of it. It really is. I actually, at one time, I had gotten pulled back into it. For a moment, I did, because I was like, I forget that I follow a lot of people, on YouTube that I used to follow when I was really in the story. And then, sometimes their videos will pop up and I'll click on it just to be curious. And then, you get to watching it, and then you literally I literally was like falling right back into it without even realizing that I was, and once I realized it took for my friend who, went through this realization that it's just a story. It took for her to literally say, Shannon, because I was talking about the push energy, and she was like, Shannon, there's no push energy. It's not real. Like, that shit's made up. She goes, I don't want to care about stuff like that. She goes, I just want to live my life. And that's when I woke up again. I was like, holy shit, what happened? Like, I literally just got pulled back into the fucking story because I found myself talking about the push energy. You guys, it's so easy to get pulled back in. It really is. And it took for her, who woke up from the story, and really she didn't wake up. She just had this realization that it was just the story. There was this noticing that it's just a story. It took for her to tell me, like, girl, wake the fuck up. Like, you're dreaming right now. Like, this shit's not real. You're in the fantasy. There's no such thing as a push energy. She goes, if they're pushing, they're pushing. And if they're not, they're not. She goes, but it won't be because you're doing this and that and this and that, you know? So, yeah, I know I'm blubbering on, but it's just, I was just thinking. I was literally thinking about, I'm sorry, guys, and I know I talk about these speakers out here that talk about twin flames, but it's like when I come across them and I'm listening to them, and I'm like, oh my God, I literally have to get right back off. The minute they start talking, I have to get right back off because I'm like, you can literally see them going so deep into the story. Like, they're just so in it. So in it. And that's okay. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if they're in the story, they're in the story. There's no control over that, right? There's no control over them doing that. And it will end when it ends, and it may not end. It may not, you know? But yeah. I'm running out of things to say, so I guess that's it for now. But until next time, guys. Bye.